Good morning. It is, if you're watching me live, it is a morning. It is Sunday. I know it's Sunday. And we're like that. Morning. Yeah, it is. What is it? Oh, 8:58 apparently. Yeah, so 2 minutes early. Blimey. There's me thinking, oh, is it that time already? I want to get up. It is that time already, and I am getting up. And here we are on the mat, waking up the body as well as the mind, connecting this to this. Because some of us now, get a little bit disconnected, don't we, from how our body feels, what it's actually telling us. Is it actually telling us anything at all? Let's just move that over there a little bit. There, that's better. We forget what our shoulders should be feeling like, what our neck should be feeling like, how long our spine is, where our legs attached to our body, where our arms attached to our body. So we kind of have this disconnect going on with our body. So rather than feeling a little bit like, I don't know what's going on, and thinking that you should be pushing harder and working harder and creating more tightness, we're going to create more work from within. So let's start to lie down. Okay, so I'm going to have two. I'm going to see how I feel. 2 blankets. So if you feel that your neck is tight or feels tight all the time, so if it feels, when you're lying down, if your neck does that, so if you feel like when you're lying down, your chin lifts, and there's a lot of space between your chin and your throat and your neck, the 7 bones of your neck, your cervical spine, tend to shorten, kind of lose some space, then you might be overworking your neck, which can actually work too much for all of this down here, your abdominals, and around your back as well. It can work for your back. So ideally, you want something underneath here, underneath your head, to allow your chin to drop a little bit further down towards your throat. So this has space and it stays long. So if you find when you lie on your back, if you're looking behind you, you would need something underneath your head, like a rolled up towel, a blanket, books, whatever you've got to hand, a cushion from your sofa, to allow your chin to stay closer towards your chest. So when you're moving, you don't do that with your head. So your neck doesn't compensate for any other part of your body. So it's not so much doing the movement, it's where you're moving from, where is your stability coming from. So let's focus on the spine for a moment. Just notice the length of your spine. Is it in the middle, or are you over to one side more than the other? So in your mind's eye, if you had to draw your spine, where would it begin and where would it end? Where would you feel for you your spine begins and where does it end? And then in your mind's eye, if you had to draw your arms, where would your arms begin and end? How long are your arms? Where do they meet your body? Is it the front? Is it the back? Is it at the top? Is it underneath? Where do your arms meet your body? So lengthen your legs out for a moment, and again in your mind's eye, if you had to draw your legs, how long are your legs? Where would they meet the body? Especially if you have to pull your trousers up. Where do your legs meet your body? At the front, at the sides, inside? Where do you feel your legs meet your body? And which of those lines feels longest for you? The line of your spine, the line of your arms, or the lines of your legs? Which do you feel is the longest line? We start to build this awareness of how we see ourselves, which for some of us can be a little bit shocking because we don't think about it like that. Okay. So bend your knees, so you bring your feet to standing, so your feet are noticing the floor, and your knees are looking up at the ceiling. And bring your attention to the pelvis, the back of your pelvis. Allow it to drop back to the floor, so you feel that your lower back is dropping down. And then we create space in the back of the pelvis. You feel like your pelvis is rolling forward. So you create space in your lower back. So you can put your hands underneath there. So you lose the space and you create more space. So your navel, your belly button drops to the floor, and then it looks towards the ceiling. So your two movements, arching and flattening, or dropping and lifting, rocking forwards and backwards. There's lots of different ways to describe it, depending on how you see it in your mind, how you feel, what's going on in your lower back. So your toes are relaxed, your jaw is soft. You might notice the head start to move a little bit as well, which is totally fine. Let your head move if it wants to. So if you were lying on a clock face or a compass, you would be going from 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock. So find what feels like halfway. Notice a halfway point. Where is halfway for you? Can you find halfway? And when you find halfway, can you settle there? Can you feel that your navel, if you had water or gin or champagne in your navel, it was level. Could it be level? Could you feel that? Your rib cage is soft. So if you had a rolled up towel underneath your ribs would be just touching that towel. Your collarbone is wide and your chin is gently tucked. So it's just noticing the throat. And you're just picking up one foot and putting it down and changing feet without anything else changing in the body. Nothing changes in the body. The spine is long, the chin is tucked, the collarbone is wide, and the ribs are soft. Just picking up and putting down, as if somebody wants to put something underneath your foot. Try and keep the gap behind your knee the same. So I'm going to keep the next one up there. Just let it stay there for a moment. Lift the head, look towards your navel, or as if you're looking towards the horizon. Let the arms reach down so your palms are facing the ceiling. Bring the foot back down, bring the head back down. Lift the other foot, lift the head, look to the horizon, reach for the bottom of the mat. Chin is down towards your throat, and then come back down with your foot and your head. Lifting the other leg, lifting the head, looking towards that horizon, wide collarbone, come back down. Changing feet, lifting and reaching. Coming back down and do one more on each side. Lifting, lengthening through the back of the head. So think about the top of the crown of your head lifting towards the ceiling. So somebody's pulling you gently towards the crown of the head, the hair, pulling it up towards the ceiling. Coming back down, last one on the other side. Then lifting, so your glutes, your butt cheeks aren't squeezing, they're relaxed, the pelvis is soft. And then come back down. So take the hand up to the ceiling. And let your shoulder blades settle into the floor. And let one leg come back up. And start to draw a circle with your knee. So you're drawing a circle on the ceiling. Think about the femur. It's the longest bone of the body from the knee to your pelvis. Drawing a circle inside the pelvis. Let your shoulder blades soften. If your arms start to ache, bring them down to the floor. And then reverse that circle. Can you go back the other way? Can you soften your jaw at the same time? Can you allow the breath still to flow? And then bring that foot down. Change sides. Can you draw a circle on this side? As if there was a clock face on your ceiling and you're letting your knee go around each point of the clock face. 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, back to 12 o'clock. And And then go back the other way, unwind it with your shoulder blades soft, your fingers soft, your jaw soft, your chin tucked, your chest wide, and your ribs down. And it becomes a mantra, yes? All that stuff. And then bring your foot down. Bring your arms back down and roll yourself over onto your side. Oh, we're nearly done 10 minutes already. Go so quickly on a Sunday morning. So I'm just going to fold one of our blankets up so my head just rests there. You can use your hand if you want to, but that can be quite uncomfortable for the shoulders sometimes. You're going to bend your knees and you're going to let your top knee lift and your top knee come back down. So your top knee wants to face the ceiling and then it wants to face in front. Facing the ceiling and facing in front. Let your spine feel long. Notice what we were talking about at the beginning of the session. How long is your spine? Where do you feel it begins and it ends? So when you're lying on your front, can you feel the length of that spine? Can you create space in your spine and in your neck? So now keep your knees together and lift and lower your top foot. So your knees stay together. So you're lifting from the outside of your ankle. Let your toes feel soft. And then let the top leg reach away from you. So it's lifted a little bit off the floor. Can you bring it forward? Can you point your toes and take the leg back? Can you push through the heel to bring the leg forward? Can you point your toes to bring the leg back? So your top arm can be in front for balance if you need support, but don't rely on it too much. Don't want your shoulder rolling forward. It can be resting on the side of your leg, or you can bring it up here towards the ceiling if you want to. Keeping that spine long. Can you bring the leg forward? How far forward can you bring it? Can you come back a little bit? You're still forward of where it is. If you're back in the centre, you're forward a little bit. Can you lift and lower the leg from there? Check your big toe isn't lifting too much and your shoulder is soft. You're still flowing with your breathing. Your jaw is relaxed. Your chin is soft. Your face is soft. And then relax your leg. So you're going to roll over onto your front. Rest your forehead on your hands. And when you get there, focus on that lower part of your belly. So below the navel. Just before you get to the pubic bone, and breathe into that part of your body. So feel that you're breathing into the lower part of your belly. So you can use the floor as feedback here, so you can feel that the lower belly is just pressing into the floor as you breathe in. Now to think about it from the back of the body on the other side, if you put your hand around onto your lower back, your elbow rests on the floor. When you breathe in, can you allow your lower back to press into your hand? Can you feel your lower back? So you're below the ribs, in that space between the ribs and your pelvis. Just where you've got 5 fused bones here, the sacrum, where the sacrum ends or begins, and the lumbar spine ends. So last bone of the lumbar spine meets the sacrum is where your lumbar spine, the L5 is, and then you go all the way up. So you're going up a ladder to L1, lumbar 1, before you get to the ribs. So lumbar spine, breathe into your lumbar spine. Can you expand it? Can you lengthen it? Can you create space for the discs in your lumbar spine to feel that they're being plumped up like cushions? And then can you come up onto your elbows? So you're pushing the floor away very gently, as if the floor is just lifting the upper part of your body. So the front of your pelvis is staying on the mat, the fingers are long, thumbs are long, chin is tucked, chest is wide. And you're allowing that breath again into the lower part of your belly and into your lower back. So think about the heart for a moment. Where is your heart? On the left side of your chest. Allow the heart to lift up between your shoulder blades. So if my hand was between your shoulder blades, you'd be lifting your heart up into the shoulder blade area, right by my hand. Can you keep that position? Can you bend one knee? Can you put it back down? Can you change legs? Can you bend your knee without the body sinking down between your shoulder blades? So keep your heart lifted. Even you're thinking about it from your chest bone. If you're not sure about the heart, think about your chest bone lifting up between your shoulder blades, as if it wants to have a look through your shoulder blades. If your shoulder blades, the doors, they've been opened, and your chest bone wants to have a look through, see what's going on. And then come back down and rest. Come back to breathing into the lower part of your belly. And then roll yourself over onto your other side. So I'm going to come back up and I'm going to come over onto this side so you can see what I'm doing. Otherwise you're looking at my back. Okay. We're bending the knees and lifting and lowering that top knee. So the top knee's looking in front, then it wants to look at the ceiling. Now, if you feel that if we're trying to force the movement and come back too far, you might find that you start to roll over onto your back. We're not doing that today. We can do that another day. They're more about the rolling. But this is more about just allowing the femur to move on its own without any help from your spine. So your spine stays long and your hip bone stays facing forward towards me. So your pelvis stays nice and still and quiet. Pelvis is quiet and steady. It's not doing any rolling. So you might find that if you've had any issues with your hip, if you've had hip replacements, if you've had any surgeries around here, you might find that the leg doesn't move that far, which is fine. So we'll just practice this. We're building up the strength in the side of the leg here. So keep the knees together and then lift and lower the top foot. So when you lift the foot, you'll notice that the knee starts to roll downwards. So we're encouraging the femur to move in the opposite direction, rolling inwards, all the way up into where the femur meets the pelvis. So it's ball and socket joint. So right at the top of the femur, it becomes like this little ball shape inside the pelvis, and we're allowing it to roll inside the pelvis. Just encouraging that movement and just being aware of it, just noticing how your leg moves. And then let the leg stretch out. Can you lift and lower the leg from there? And then can you bring it forwards? Point your toes, take it back. Bring it forwards, point your toes, take it back. So on the next one, we're going to stay forwards. Can you lift and lower the leg from there? Can you keep the spine long? Can you keep your tailbone long behind you so it's not coming forwards? Just notice if you're using too much effort in your shoulder or in your jaw, just reduce the effort. So you're moving with ease and grace, softly, without tightening up anywhere else. Can you come forward a little bit more? Oh, I'm pushing you now. Your leg might be going, oh, I had enough now. Okay, so let's relax our leg. Oh, I had enough. So use your hands to push the floor away. Can you come up into a seated position? Okay, so if you sit well, you might find that you can sit cross-legged and on your sit bones. If you find it a bit of a struggle to sit, get yourself a couple of cushions or blankets and sit on the front of them, not right on the middle, but sit on the front of them. And then you'll find you can probably sit, maybe not cross-legged, maybe with your legs out straight, without tucking here, without folding into the front of the body. You might find that you're not doing any of this folding. Just feel that. And if you find it tricky to sit on the floor, then go and sit on a chair, grab a chair, or if you're in your bedroom, sit on your bed, or if you're in the kitchen, sit on a chair, in the lounge, sit on a sofa. Just find somewhere where you can sit for a moment and you can notice the bottom of your pelvis. Where are your sit bones? Can you notice your right sit bone? Can you notice your left sit bone? Do they feel equal, right and left? They feel balanced. I think if your sit bones, like think of my sit bones, like little feet. So imagine that they're like little feet, without anything on them, no shoes, no socks, and they're just walking. Can you walk your sit bones for a moment? Can you walk? I'm going to try that with my legs out like that. Can you walk your sit bones if they're walking down the road? Then you find that your pelvis might rotate a little bit. So can you make the movement smaller? Move smaller and smaller. So you just notice those sit bones gently moving. So if I was watching you, if I was there in the room with you, I'd barely notice you moving at all. Can you find which sit bone you're more aware of? You have a habit of sitting on one side more than the other, maybe cross-legged, or you lean on one side more than the other. You might be aware of more on one side than the other. Can you notice what's happening up here in the top of your pelvis? Can you do that? Can you allow your sit bones now to feel the same? Can they feel equal? Mm-hmm. Can you feel your top of your pelvis feeling equal? So the length of your waist here feels the same. You bring your hands together, put your thumbs on your chest bone and turn to one side. Come back and switch sides. So if you're turning to your left side, let your left shoulder blade help guide you around. And if you turn to your right side, let your right shoulder blade feel as if it's guiding you around. So we don't think much about our shoulder blades, do we? Because they're on the back of the body and we don't look at them. So think about where your shoulder blade is. It's like a triangle of bone that sits on the back of your ribs. So think about the lower shoulder blade. Allow the lower to mid shoulder blade help guide you around as if it wants to hug your spine, as if it wants to kiss your spine. Obviously, the other side, we've got some work going on here in the rib cage, and the opposite shoulder is helping pull you around as well. But we're trying not to hike up here. We're being aware that you have the same distance between your earlobes and the top of your arms, top of your shoulders. So you're not trying to do this, hug your ear as you come around. So think more about moving from the middle of your back to allow this top part of your shoulder to let go. So you notice that when you do that, you have more movement, you have more rotation. That will just tighten up your shoulder and tighten up your neck and your jaw on that side of your face. So can you move with ease? Think about less effort. Do less so you can feel more freedom in your movement. Nice. And then come back to the center. Where is the center for you? Where is your nose facing forward? Is the top of your head, the crown of your head, lifting towards the ceiling as if somebody was just gently pulling the back of your hair up towards the ceiling? If you're sitting on the chair, you can just be fine as you are. If you're on the floor, you might be able to let the legs come out. Can you let your hands rest? See if you can find the top of your legs and let the chin drop down. Just imagine that you're sitting up against a straight wall. Then you're going to start to come forward off the wall behind you. Excuse me. So drop the chin towards your throat. Think about the spine and start to come forward as if your forehead wants to go towards your knees. Your hands can trace the line of your legs, or if they can be on the floor, and trace the line of the floor. And then you can start to come back up, one bone at a time of the spine, lifting. If your legs are out straight, if you feel uncomfortable in the back of your knees, you can bend your knees. And then your chin drops to your throat and the forehead feels like it's going towards the floor or towards your knees. As you start to walk the fingers forward and then start with your lower back, spine starts to restack as if you've got building blocks, and this restacking and the head comes up last. Let's do one more. So drop your throat, chin towards your throat. Your sit bones are staying the same, so you're not moving your sit bones. You're just allowing that spine to fold forward. The forehead feels like it's going towards your knees. Your fingertips are reaching forwards. Then you start to restack the spine, the lower back, restacking the bones. They're coming up one at a time. Shoulder blades sitting on top of them. Restacking. And then the head comes up. And there you are. Come back to sitting comfortably in a position where you can rest. Rest in your sitting position, because sometimes when we've got a job where we're sitting a lot, we tend to sit a little bit like this, with our ribs pressing down onto all our organs, pressing down onto our pelvic floor. And can you create space for your organs here? Can you create space for your liver? Can you create space for your stomach? Can you create space for everything that's going around here, your intestines. Can you give them space? Can you put your hands on your ribs? Can you find where your ribs curve? And you place your fingers there. So your heels of your hands are just resting on the outside of your ribs. And breathe into the heel of your hands. Can you do that? Can you allow those ribs to feel expansive? Big word for a Sunday morning. Now, if it feels uncomfortable to have your arms in this position, you can always cross your hands like that. So on one side, on the other side of your ribs, so your shoulders aren't lifting. And then breathe into your hands. Just find a way where you can feel that you're breathing into your hands. And imagine that for a moment you were a miniature person. There was a mini you inside one side of your ribs and another one of you, a little mini you, inside the other side of your ribs. And when you breathe in, you're gently pressing outwards. You want to create space when you breathe in. You want to create space for the air to come in, creating space, allowing the belly, noticing the belly moving as you breathe in. And we're creating space here, lifting in the upper body. And then rest. Close your eyes for a moment. Allow your jaw to relax. So imagine for a moment that your jaw hasn't got a care in the world. You know, it's not bothered, it's gone. It's away with the fairies. It's on holiday. It's lying on a beach somewhere. Listening to the waves on the ocean. Or if you don't find that relaxing, you're thinking about somewhere where you can allow your jaw to feel that it can let go, can relax. And just bring your attention to the back of your head for a moment. Can you allow the back of the head to be in line with your spine? So if your chin feels like it's drifting forward, can you bring the back of the head to the back of the room? Can you turn the back of the head from right to left? Can you allow the back of the head to turn in one direction and the back of the head to turn in the other direction? And when the back of the head turns, the face turns. Just allow the back of the head to do the work. And then come back to the center. Where is the center? Can you allow your nose to draw a line up and down? And notice as you do that, what's happening at the back of the head, how it tilts forward and backwards. Noticing the top of your spine, the top of your neck, how the position of your head can alter the space at the top of your neck. And be in a position where you're halfway between those two movements, so the top of your neck has space for the discs to feel that they can be plumped up like cushions. Give them space. And then gently open your eyes so you can see around you again, noticing the room. Can you notice the room and notice your breath at the same time, being aware of your space and being aware of your breath? Being aware of your space, your breath, and your hands. Can you be aware of your hands as well? Can you notice your fingers, your palms? Can you move your thumbs a little bit? Can you move your fingers a little bit? Can you be aware of the space around you and being aware of your hands and noticing your breath? And then rest, rest, rest. And thank you for joining me early on this Sunday morning. What are you going to do now? Is it time for a cup of tea? I'm going to think a little walk outside because it's a beautiful day. A little walk, maybe. Using water this morning. And come back for a little bit of relaxation and rest on a Sunday. Take care. Have a great weekend, what's left of it. And if you're watching me during the week, I hope you're having a good week. Love you. Bye.